Keep We was born into a system designed to keep us behind. But knowledge is power, keep that in mind. Pay attention to the road and the signs. You gon' shine, you gon' know when it's time. We was born into oppression. Threw us in them jails, waist deep in depression. Art of deception, knowledge is a weapon. They even took that away, it calls for a lesson. School prices go up, kids don't show up. Gang signs get thrown up, progression gets slowed up. Politicians speak on it, they acting like they know us. They just wanna control us with the lies that they told us. But I don't stand for it. Every other day, got a body on the camcorder, and we don't get no damn order. And Flynn didn't get no damn water. On the gram, watch another black man slaughtered. Either that or the king, they had a plan for it. They stopped slavery and open prisons. And we all know religion comes with division. You gotta see the vision and make a decision. Grew up in the streets, so the mission, they know that I'm with it. I feel like Nat Turner on the back burner, waiting for my time to rise. Started on the crack corner. We ain't have nothing but a pack on us. Police spin the block, they was trying to snap on us. Mama rent dude, he trying to get that stack floor. But D's caught him round the corner with that crack on him.
Through the hell and rain, heard me say it won't be the same. Reason why we praise, cause we know we'll find better days. Showing the heaven gates, and we won't be late. Showing the heaven gates, and we won't be late.
And yo, I'm numb to the pain, scarred by the game.
Yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Yeah, music, what's good, what's going on, bruh? How you doing? Welcome to the second annual series of the Talk Back series of the H.O.L.A Link All Together series. We're talking about the We Came to H.O.L.A documentary with yours truly, Ron, and we have Dr. Cory Green will be here today, and we will talk about the documentary, talking about like the nitty-gritty stuff about the documentary that a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I'm chilling, bro. We better have this courageous conversation with Dr. Cory Green and myself about We Came to H.O.L.A. We're gonna talk back. If you haven't followed us, please follow us now. You know, vibes, you know, show us a love, show us support. Definitely. Stay tuned. Conversation starts at 6.
It's like a slave locked in a cage, it's real. I just write how I feel. Represent for the youngins, cause I know how they feel. All them nights, no meals. You just mad that your tummy aches. So you on the streets grinding, try and get another plate. I know. I was right there selling sour, trying to save money for some studio hours.
Through the hell and rain, heard me say it won't be the same. Reason why we praise, cause we know we'll find better days. Showing the heaven gates, and we
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace, peace, peace. Cindy, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yo, peace and welcome, everybody. Yo, this is your boy, Ron. I'm one of the youth organizers of H.O.L.A. We will have a good conversation today with Dr. Cory Green and myself as we break down the nitty-gritty of the We Came to H.O.L.A documentary. So please, if you haven't favored us, please make sure you also subscribe to us on YouTube at HOWLLALinkAllTogether.com and follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram if you haven't. And please, definitely stay tuned for this conversation. You will not want to miss. It's something. Thank you for that. Definitely, I'm one of the participants who was in that documentary. So you will hear a little bit from me of my experiences while filming this documentary, talking about the journey of doing this work. So definitely stay tuned. We started at 6 in the next 4 minutes. While we do that, I'm gonna let the next song play. We're gonna put Letting Go of Him. You know how we do it. Peace, happy Monday, everybody. Peace and love, everybody, though. Peace and love.
peace Jake really.
We letting go,
So hard and it's killing
and we letting go, and we letting go,
So hard and it's killing
we letting go, we letting go,
So hard and it's killing
and we letting go,
And I can feel it
and we letting go.
And I can't fall alone.
Here we go all over again. We pretend you're all over me, but you still call me a friend. I look you in the eyes, wondering how this ends. You'll open up to me or you'll start to offend. All weekend you'll have me moaning instead of owning. Your feelings you're scared, but they already controlling. The beat we rock to is here before you were. You don't even know how we got to fear either. In the meantime, why don't wish you go deeper. Well, I hope to God you end up a keeper. Your sweet nothing's got me turning into a believer. Your girl needs you now. It's been time you relieve her. God damn. It's so.
White boy Ron Block, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to H.O.L.A your live show. I'm your boy. I'm your host Ron with co-host with Dr. Cory Green. Spirit Wavy, how you doing? How you doing today? We're gonna talk about We Came to H.O.L.L documentary breakdown, the nitty gritty of the documentary with myself and Dr. Cory Green, who will be here at 6:00. The show starts at 6. Until then, please get ready to sit down. Make sure you get your popcorn. Get your, get all your mind, your body, and spirit right. So definitely, yes, coming in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, y'all.
To love without putting me behind bars. To my friends, can you speak up next time you see love as an uppercut? To my family, I know
I'm Ashley in the building. Peace. How you doing?
you want me to marry, but I can't take the burden of that shit carries. I got the world on my shoulders and I'm trying to change it. So your plan for me, I suggest you rearrange it.
Yeah.
Damn little boy, how'd you hide so well? The way you gripped on my thighs, I just couldn't tell. When you told me you fell, you showed me it too. But was all it was an act? Well, here's part 2. I should have known the whole time this is what you do. I did know, just didn't think it'd be so soon. I didn't think with you it would hurt so hard. That every single man in my life left me with scars. It doesn't matter to me what you do when you do you.
Yes,
Being
sir.
only mine doesn't equate to being true. I wouldn't take that leap of faith on you. Just needed you to remember that I'm a human too. God damn, is it so hard to love without putting me behind bars? To my friends, can you speak up next time you see love as an uppercut? To my family, I know you want me to marry, but I can't take the burden that shit carries. I got the world on my shoulders and I'm trying to change it. To your plan for me, I suggest you rearrange it. God damn, is it so hard to love without putting me behind bars? To my friends, can you speak up next time you see love as an uppercut? To my family, I know you want me to marry, but I can't take the burden that shit carries. The world in my hands now, I'm letting go of it again. Faced with a choice, I'm letting go of him.
Yo, so hard and it's killing us. Nah, don't do me like that. So hard and it's killing us. We done healed together.
Yo, grab a sage.
Just a safe space. We
Let's
make
circle
space
up.
so you could take space.
Everybody bring their best self.
Peace. How you doing? Becoming Kayla. How you doing? Welcome. Peace. My name is Ron. I'm one of the youth organizers of H.O.L.L.A. We will have a deep conversation around the We Came to H.O.L.L documentary with myself, Ron, and Dr. Cory Green. He will be here shortly. Definitely we'll have a courageous conversation. Please have a seat. Enjoy the show. I hope, feel free to. There you go. Cory H.O.L.L.A in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Cory Green himself has arrived in the building. He is here. We got everybody in the building. There's 5 people in here. I see some love was going. Appreciate the love. I see that little hearts was going down there. Thank you. Appreciate that. Word. Dr. Green, whenever you're ready, sir. Whenever you're ready.
It's a safe space.
Anybody
We make
can pop it
space
off.
so you could take space.
You gotta click the box.
I'm listening, I'm taking it, I'm taking it, I'm listening.
Then it said a request box on the bottom when you join. It says if you want to join the live, click that request box. There's a line right there. I send you one, Cory. Try that one. There you go.
There we go. It's goody.
What's going on?
How you feeling today, man? Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again for another 60 to 90 minutes of IG live build about We Came to H.O.L.L. We got Keron in the building. I'm kind of dark over here, right?
Right, you in the dark over there. I'm like,
I'm in the dark, man. I'm trying to get some light over here, man. I had to pull over in the car, man. So much traffic, so much stuff going on that I couldn't make it to where I need to go. Peace, peace. What's good, man? How you feeling? I just want to give a couple of shout out before we get this thing going, man. Shout out to Mash Cash in the building.
Word.
Shout out to all of the YLC members: Shaq, Alex, Lachna, Victor, Lauren, Myasia, Phil, A-Rocks, Butterlab. Alex. Definitely me and Keron is in the building. Rakim, Talik. So many people, so many spirits, so many circles, political education. This is our fourth. Kumi was lit. Thanks for sharing that. She was our first young person to really bless the IG Live platform. And we got another one coming up Thursday as well, with another one of our Healing Justice organizers, Shaq. So this is the first time that, YLC had a chance to kick it about the documentary live. So I'm just looking forward to have a chance to kick it with Keron, and talk further. I'll pass it to Keron to give us some spirit, man, and we're going to keep this going.
Someone please tell me the difference between then and now. How's the light that we still have no more work than cow? Will the struggles ever stop? Will we ever stop being harassed by the cops just because the color skin of past history? The reason behind this stays in my mind's a mystery. I'm a young black man who has no record involved in the community, yet no one sees that. So I'm left with no immunity in my mind. The world faces a strong black man with intelligence, one who doesn't let others dictate how she live his life. But surely, not all black men beat their wives. The struggles of a young black man is forever there. I dare you to change history of black youth. Showing you aren't just another statistic. What be legit? You don't belong in overcrowded jail system. You belong to walk the streets. Show your family. Show your friends. Matter of fact, show America. Show the world. The struggles of a young black man cannot be defined by what you see, but your true intelligence. Peace.
Thank you, Keron, for waking us up. That poem is called Struggles of a Young Black Man. It's featured on the Youth Organizing Collective Healing Justice Movement album called The Report Back, which is on all social media platforms. So we're going to dive into this, man. So this documentary, We Came to Heal, is, a collection of interviews, healing justice circles, political education sessions, performances, one-on-one bills within the Healing Justice Circle, Healing Justice Summits, talent shows, a list of events and analysis and music put together to really kind of like uplift the work that YOC, the Youth Organizer Collective of H.O.L.L.A, been doing around healing with ourselves and healing with communities in New York City, particularly young people in New York City impacted by incarceration and doing youth organizing. But it also had led us to have deep relationships and circles and organizing communities abroad, in L.A., in Oakland, in Detroit, in Jersey. So shout out to our family and formerly incarcerated people movement. Shout out to our peoples in the Education Liberation Network and all of that work we're doing around prison abolition. So, Keron, anything else you want to say about the documentary before we get into some questions? You're one of the architects of it.
I will say, man, if you haven't watched the documentary, you should watch it. I recommend it. Watch it with your moms, your pops, your brothers, sisters. Let's watch it with everybody that you know. Just spread the word.
So let's just jump in it, man. Let people know a little bit more about who you are, Keron, man. So who are you?
Man, my name is Keron Bennett. I'm 27. I was born and raised in Belize, Central America. I grew up in Houston, Texas, living in East New York, Brooklyn. I just enjoy music, life, family, friends, writing poetry in my spare time, reading books on my spare time. I just enjoy life, man, one day at a time.
So people see you in a documentary, some people hear you talk and they see the work H.O.L.A do. So some people might know a little bit in regards to that. But, in your own words, can you let the people know what you fight for, and what healing means to you?
Yeah, definitely. What I fight for like liberation of all like all black and brown people. When I really mean by that, I mean like where we're not oppressed, mindset. I feel like people are impressed in their mindset, and they're not willing to change. And I'm trying to be that change to really captivate their mind to tell them like, yo, where we can do better. I feel like in our communities, we also always have people who are ballers but not enough scholars, and I'm always shoot for like young people who's with me. You know what I mean? If you're with me, you're always down with me. I want to teach you. I want to be able to teach you things that you might teach me at the same time I'm gonna teach you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I feel like in our communities we don't often got space to talk.
Hmm.
So I always fight for young people to speak their truth and be heard. And what I fight for, I fight for undocumented folks too. I got family who's undocumented myself. And I always fight for them. 'Cause I feel like their voices are oftentimes being overshadowed because of where they come from or what they look like. And I was just always trying to figure out how can we make everybody's voice heard, because in a world where every voice is not heard.
Talk that Keron. Snap it up to that. So we're gonna change it this first round of question up a little bit different than last night because you somebody that was part of creating the film. So tell us a little bit about give the folks, the viewers, some little insights. First about like what did it feel like? What was it like to create this kind of documentary, this film? Give people a timeline, some of the spirit behind it, but also the film was also about you. So, share a little bit too about what it felt like, the organizing you doing that, like ended up going into a film as well.
Um, it was at first, we talked about this whole, we talked about we gonna do a documentary, and I was like, all right, we gonna do this. And I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? What am I gonna talk about? What did he gonna ask me, or what's they gonna ask me? What they gonna? So I got in the interview, like one of the examples. I got in the interview room, and like the person who was interviewing us was asking the questions. I was looking at him like, bro, you really want me to ask this question right now? And like, but one thing I would say, being in the process and doing it now, I would say that it was therapy. I feel like I
Mm.
stayed in that room that I not stay in, like outdoors with my friends or family or whoever I'm with. Um, and also it was kind of a bit of a rough time for me too doing the documentary. When we first started the first series and when we first did a 2-minute video, I lost my uncle that same day when we did the first screening. So, it was that day was a bittersweet moments for me. It was like I was like, wow, okay, so I have no phone. I got in contact. I found that my uncles died. Then I was like, wow, okay, cool, let's do this. Let's do this. But one thing I would say though, when I was doing it, it was something about me wanting to. It's like spiritual tell me like I was comfortable, like I was be able to be myself. In the documentary you will see like different versions of me in there. Is like, wow, okay, so you went from do rag to no do rag to have hair to back to no hair to having that hats to having no hats. And it's not that I wanted to do, it was not intentionally. That's just my personality. Um, and I feel like that shows a lot in the documentary who I am as an individual, as a person, as a heterosexual man, as a cisgender person, as a person who is identified from the hood, a person who is Afro Caribbean. You see just the rawness of my story and how I feel and how I be. Like how oftentimes I might be loud, but with my loudness, I can teach you in things that you might not know about. So I feel like this is something that is worth watching.
Mm. So, quick question. So let's keep staying in there. How long did it take to make the documentary?
It took a long time, man. It took us almost like 2 years. For us, it was a lot of like collective ideas that how what we want the document to look like, feels like, tastes like. We had a lot of arguments. We got moments where we was like, man, I don't want that scene in me, man. That shit looks ugly, bro. Cut that shit out. Like, no. But the moments when we do look at back in those moments and when we like look at ourselves then and look at ourselves now and look at ourselves in the future is like, wow, I have improved. I have looked at myself way different. I have improved. I have like challenged my mindset to grow. And I was like, it was hard, you know what I mean? For me, it was really hard because I owe my story. So for people to have my story, it was way different for me. It's like it was not really my control. It's like, I have control, but not like control of how I would want myself to look like. The journey was beautiful though, like to learn and to be in a room with collective of young people who have similar ideology as you, and then be like, wow, okay. So you thinking that? I was built off that, but I'm gonna think this though, and like to see that collaboration happen, that's something that traditionally don't happen in our neighborhood, and to see that all of us be able to be vulnerable and to be heard and to really be your authentic self, that is something most people don't get on a 9 to 5 job. This is what people don't get when they go to programs. This is what they don't get when they see these different things. And I feel like that was something that I cherish the most. I always believe in cherishing the little moments than the big moments. I'm very humble with it, so I always think that is the way to go. And I always look at it back in those moments too. Like, like yesterday, I was just in my room and I was just looking like, dang, we've been all over the place. And like, and how many times that we took this movement work and we took it to different places, different blocks and different neighborhoods, and seeing people smiling and laughing and it's hearing, and like that is something money can't buy, because that's real happiness, that's real healing, and that's real that a lot of people don't share what they really talk about in the nitty-gritty of their life. Like to have a person sit in front of you, right in front of you, be able to open and be vulnerable, and you just let them be heard and let them to just listen about, wow, okay, so I gave you 2 minutes of my time and you just drop this and me for whole that is like, I'm honored and privileged for that. And in the documentary, it's like I honor and privilege the stories that not only I shared, but also the collective stories that I heard that let me be able to share. Yeah.
Yo, that's fire. I see the family. I see Mickey, Coley, my little sis Monique in the building. I see mad people joining in. So I was just getting a little nervous with all these folks joining us. You heard? Now, Keron, you went into a lot of stuff that I want to talk about a little bit later about the vulnerability and the deep storytelling. But just to stay on to the creation part, not to go into all of that yet. We're gonna get into some of that. You said it took y'all 3 years. It took us 3 years to make that. Who did y'all make this? Who did we make this documentary for? When we was thinking like for 3 years, that's kind of a long investment. And like, what audience or what, how did it come together like that? Who was it made for? Like, what was the spirit of it? And why a documentary? Why make a documentary?
Yeah, it's funny because we always do that. This question is gonna come up eventually. We created this document and why are we doing the way we did it and why we intentionally did the way we do it. I believe the intentionality that we was trying to create was we was really trying to focus in on really centering young people's voices. That was one of the main focuses. It's not saying only young people was our main focus, but young people was our foundation of where we want to start at. And we was trying to figure out how can we reach the young people? What can we give them? How can we ask them to be vulnerable with us? We was like, or we just go in there and talk to them and say, yo, let's get healed doing this way. What are we gonna do? What is the strategy? What is our strategy to get the stories and get the collective data that we need to help flourish the agenda of the healing justice movement to flourish? We had many nights where we call like many nights we on the phone late, everybody just there chilling. We trying to figure out like, yo, bro, I know you tired, bro, well, come on, I need you to get up and just get this. We got this. And I'm like, yo, I'm tired, man. I don't want to see no more computers. I don't want to see no more papers. I don't want to hear no more. I can't. I can't need to breathe. But it's like, but to hear those things and to feel those things was one of the most things that we had to like really put in the life, because we know in the young people, all of us got different wingspan. Some of us like visuals, some of us like audio, some of us like to feel things, and so we try to create where all those can be embedded in the video, where it can touch different people, different forms, different age group. And also one of the biggest issue that we had was like, who was our main target though? We was like young people, but what young people? Are we was talking about little kids? No. Are we talking about little kids? No. We were talking about young kids who were like probably our age, between the age gap of 18 to like probably like 25, 30. It was like, but where they at though? Then we had to figure out the strategy. We created an 80 organization canvas where we get a chart paper. We start jotting down like, where we gonna go? All right, we know Osborne got young people. We know this person got young people. And we start jotting those down. And when we start jotting those down, then we start reaching out to those young people. And then we start talking to these young people. And it was like, yo, we got this thing called Hidden Justice that we want to try out. I remember we started off at Columbia University. It is crazy because when it started, Columbia was the first place that we started the Hidden Justice workshop. We started there, and like when we did it, we started seeing like, yo, something's missing in this whole thing though. What we need to do better. What we need to do to make this work, and we revamped the whole structure again to try and make it be where we all the things that we learned, we try to embed it into the workshop so it could be better. If you know, and I think that was one of the hardest things that we ever did, like as a team, as young people who never did this before, who came from different neighborhoods. I think this was a challenge, but I think it was a challenge that were accepted, because I felt like we also trying to figure out as a collective, not all as a collective, but as an individual, how do I show up for this work? And how can I show up as a collective with this work? And I feel that was a lot of things that we questioned, that I questioned a lot too doing the work. Like I was like, yo, I'm from the block. I don't know none of these dudes. Like, I don't know why they want me to do the Hidden Justice movement. I don't know why they want us to be doing this. I'm like, I don't know none of these people. But then I'm now like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. And I feel like, you know, doing the work, I feel like I start learning and gaining wisdom from like Mashley, and getting wisdom from Shaq, and getting wisdom from Alex and Victor, Pearl, and Rush, and Lauren, and Maisha, and Cory, and KJ, and Doc, and all these people. And they was like, yo, you got a voice. And I was like, you do. He said, all right, y'all doing this work, right? Why you do this work? I said, because I want to change the lives of young people. But why? Because why? You can't get it why? I want you to come back to me. And that was a question that led me to understand why I did the work, why we created a movement, why I chose to stay, why did I think, yo, bro, I think we should go to high school. I think this is a better target for us. I feel like when that person asked me why I do the work I do, I had to reflect of why I bring myself into this conversation. And I had to like say, oh, you know what? I want to change the narrative, not just for me, but the young person who might be coming the same footsteps as me. And I wanted, how can I make their voices that is voiced less be voice heard? And I just brought those ideas, and I helped with my team by bringing their ideas to Falcon.
Nah, that's fire. That's fire. You be going in a lot of bags, man. I don't really know what bag to jump in with all of that. We're going to get to some of that stuff. I'm still trying to stay on some of this. So you talked a little bit about the creation, and you talked about some of the spirit going into, like, you know, why it looked like it looked and what we was trying to put into it. Talk a little bit about your the response when you first watched it. When you first watched it the first time, how did it feel? What do you remember that? The first time you watched it, the first time yourself, the first full time.
Oh man.
How did that feel? What came to your mind? What did you think about?
At first, when I first saw it, I saw my face. I was like, oh no. I said, no, we did not do this right now. Like, no, we're not doing this. And then it's like, And then as I goes on and I watched it and I started seeing myself, like, oh, I'm too loud. Like, oh no, why? I know I don't want to hear myself. Like, can we just skip this part, please? Because like I was not so used to hear myself speak that when I was listening to myself the very first time when it first dropped, and I was like, let me watch this thing. And like, oh my God, why it sound like that? Ooh, oh my God. I'm yelling for like, and then I had to learn, I had to like really tell myself those was my versions of myself that I had. I have to embrace because those were my younger self while my older self getting older. And even up to this day now, like even watching that whole itself, I embrace the new version of me. I'm like, oh, okay, I see why I did the way I talk this way. Then I start seeing why I moved the way I moved this way. I feel like that is just something that typically a lot of us don't like. We don't be second guessing ourselves. So it's like to see myself and to hear myself and to feel myself was different. And it was like, whoa, okay. I could never say that any other better. Like, ooh, okay. I could have said a little better. Mm. Then I like, okay, I got it. And I remember like just remember all those parts with me in it. It was like, why did I send this picture in again? Like, why did I send this picture again? Oh, okay, got it. But I feel like overall though, just watching it, it was powerful. It creates me, it made me hopeful, not hopeless. It creates this like my agent said in the video, it creates this fire in me that is so lit that no matter what I do, it still burns.
My Asia to the building.
Like that's something that I was like, he said that at first, I'm like, I didn't get it. But then when as time goes on, I start understood what she meant. And it was just phenomenal, man. Like just to do it, to watch it, to be in it. I think that is a legacy I would tell my kids if I have kids in someday. Like, yo, your granddaddy was out there doing his and pops out there, you know, maybe he was doing his documentary. You gotta watch that. You heard, you just gotta check that out. You gotta get that lesson in.
Shout out to Keron for giving us some of that. I remember when I no. I remember when I first seen I think we seen the first scene or something. I was like, what? I was like, yo, this is for real? I was like, yo, this first scene is about to be crazy. I
Right.
also felt like it was a lot of Cory in it. It was a lot of. I was like, damn, they carrying me through the whole joint. Shout out to Victor Kumi in the building. Victor just jumped in, one of the YOC organizers and leaders of the documentary. Victor is lit too, man. Shout out to Victor, got his own YouTube channel, man. Doing a lot of big things on that, man. So check out that YouTube channel. So Keron, let's keep it going. What about when you first, when other people, have you got any reactions and responses to like family members, friends, or just the, I'm with you, so just the general public who's seen a documentary? How have people like responded after seeing a documentary?
All right, so I typically don't like I always tell people I don't mix worlds a lot, and I end up mixing my worlds together with my family and the documentary.
Yo, mixed worlds.
I don't be mixing worlds too much.
You don't be getting that intersectionality. You don't be getting into that mess, man.
Different things. So like one moment I was like, yo, let's do this. Let's watch this documentary, yo. Like, I'm in it. Let's watch this. And then I clicked it on. When I clicked it on, and I just watch it. I was watching with my cousin, and she was watching it, and we was chilling, and we was just watching the whole thing. We was watching it, and she was just watching it, and she was vibing to it, and she's like, okay, cool. I feel cool. Oh, okay. Okay, cousin, I see you. Okay. Got it. Look at you. I'm gonna tell Charlene. I'm gonna tell your mama. I'm like, I said it to her already, so I don't know much in it, so it's cool. It's like I'm well said, and like just to watch it and to watch it twice. You know what I mean? I watched it twice back to back with two family members, you know what I mean? And to watch it with my cousin, my cousin's friend, like he came over and he watched it with me as well, and he watched it. And he was like, "All right, talk your shit, Key. All right, well said." I'm like, "Yo, I fuck with it. I fuck with this whole thing. Fire. I like it. It's a little bit long, but I love it. It's like,
He says a little bit long.
but I like it. I like it though. It's fire. It got me thinking. It got me thinking about myself. And like even for me to watch it with my friends, like a couple of scenes I watched like highlights with my friends, and they was like, "Okay, bro, I see you. I see you doing your thing. You know, do it all for the hood, man. You know, do it for the hood." I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying. You know what I mean? But like just to see like people affirming the video with not only with me in it, but with us as a collective, I think that was one of the most affirming things for me. Um, and a lot of people who don't know me and who know me, who might not still not know me, like I don't take credit a lot of times for things. I like to be like I'm humble with it. I don't really care for credits. Like even if I want it, I still deep down inside don't need it. And a lot of time my friends be like, "Yo, you should take credit for that." Like, you know, yeah, you did,
You should own that a little bit more. You heard?
yeah, like you did your thing. Like you better than me. I'm out there. You speak your mind. You let it be known that these people are listening, and somebody evidently somebody gonna hear you. And I was like, yeah, bro. You know how these white people is, bro. They didn't go okay. Like they was gonna say another dead black man talking, or they was gonna say, "Oh, this is a long video about bullshit that we don't care about." And he like, "Nah, bro. I think this is different, bro. Times has changed. I feel like y'all need to be out here. Y'all need to do the work. Like y'all need to. Y'all the new leaders that we're looking at. Like, bro, like you just gotta watch yourself now, but." Definitely is needed. Like in the community, this is needed. Like, bro, nah. Like I even had people that I know who I was cool with. They was telling me that, bro, where was this when I was young?
No question.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't even know when. I wish this was when I was 13. I wish H.O.L.L.A was existed. That's what's when I look at the documentary now, and I look back at myself, and I look back at everybody else, I look back at myself like, dang. Why didn't nobody teach me this knowledge a long time ago? Why couldn't I just get these knowledge a long time ago? Why couldn't I inherit these things? Why didn't I push myself enough to push myself even harder to know these things? And I felt like that was one of the most affirming things to myself that I had to affirm myself with. Is about accepting the unknown while challenging the known. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do all the time.
You getting in the pockets of the spiritual, philosophical, pop. I don't know, Keron. Now, shout out to Alex in the building, YLC organizer, H.O.L.L.A legacy, stand on. I was just thinking about some of the stuff that you were saying, and I was thinking about like definitely I watched it with my family, and my mom's definitely was like, "Yo, why you know like yo, why you went into some of those bags? You know, why you told some of those stories? You know, so and then she also definitely appreciated the documentary too, but like she definitely had some questions like about, you know, like feeling like shamed or something. I feel like we got a lot of feedback from schools and like other people asking us to like show the documentary. Some of our friends who do healing work, who seen it, gave us text messages like, "Yo, I watched it with my niece." Shout out to Farima. I watched it with my people. That was lit. You know, and like, yeah, man, I think our YouTube only had got 150 subscribers. You know, so our YouTube needs some help, man. So everybody subscribe to our H.O.L.L.A TV on our YouTube channel. But our documentary got about 60-something thousand views. So for a channel that only got 150 subscribers, and for our video to be
Right.
way overdoing the subscribers, that just lets you know a little bit how important that is. Let's get our subscribers up, man. Share that video. Share that We Came to Heal video. Make sure we get that. So, Keron, I want to go into some of the clips, into some of the actual stuff. And I'm in the car, and you the host anyway, kind of, too. but I study, so I'm, you know, you could play any clip. If you, I don't know if you could play a clip or you just want to talk about a clip. I don't know if we could play, if you could.
Let's talk about it. I already know
Huh?
what some of those questions that will be anyway.
So, is there any clips that you talked about, you particular, so that we can learn a little bit more about what you meant about this, what you were sharing in that piece?
One clip that I wanted to talk about, when I was talking about like government structure, I feel like a lot of people when I was really what I was really talking about, like when I said people, like one of my things that I learned doing this work, and I was talking about government, and I was talking about how they treat people. I was really talking like one of my deepest understanding and deepest ideologies that I known and I discovered was like typically in our society, you know, we are embedded to be, what's the word I'm looking for? We're more so like to look for things from people to benefit ourselves. And I think like when I would learn from that video when I was talking, I was like, yo, I'm really talking about government and how they steal happiness from our people. And I was really talking about how traditionally how we as people, we create things in our neighborhoods, we create things in our communities, and create things in our homes to make our family and friends be happy. And when we see start making boomings and making credits, and government see that happiness is actually taking place, oftentimes the government come in and be like, yo, shut this down. I don't know what this is. And they stole the happiness away from the community and instill fear, instill drugs, instill weeds, and instill cocaine, instill all these things that is toxic in our communities. And we just talk about like how like if we really as communities say that we're a community and really remove the toxic stuff in our community, to talk about detoxing ourselves as an individual while simultaneously detoxing the community, our community will be a lot safer, a lot better, a lot peaceful, a lot more cultural, a lot more traditional. But until then, we typically will live in a society where it will control by a white supremacist ideology, a white supremacist culture, a white supremacist tradition. And if we don't take a chance to really talk about how can we change it, we will constantly be in the same predicament over and over and over again.
So I just that line just got me back in my notes because I can't go to my Google Doc right now, but thank you for that because it reminded me of when I think you first came into the documentary, and I think Victor Rushner, Victor was talking about like white supremacy snatching indigenous folks and soaking us in some socialization and colonization.
Right.
And Rushner was saying how she experienced going to like a really white school and like whiteness was all around her. And then you jumped in. And you said something around like the first time I came here because you was undocumented, I got bullied because I was different. That was a whole thread of us talking about like how the historical, the structural flows into the personal. Because like Victor laid out a lot of the historical. Rushner was mapping an institutional structural thing, and then you landed it and you talked about your personal experience being bullied because you was different. But I felt like that overlap, that thing related. So talk a little bit about like what that meant to you as an individual, talking about being bullied, but also the thread in that documentary too.
Yeah, definitely. When I was talking about when I was saying when I was bullied to be different, I was really coming at how like I was born and raised in Belize, so it's like for me, typically I see war as in black versus brown. And I never really understood the concept of war between white and black. Like I heard about it, read about it, seen it, but never got fully in contact with it. So when I moved to the United States and I moved to Houston, Texas, and I lived there, I was age of 13. I didn't understand what all these words of like what is English, proper English was because I thought I speak proper English already. And when I started seeing that my English was not transferable, or in other words, it was not like understandable for them to speak to the same language, and I started seeing how people were treating me differently. People felt like if I was an alien, like I was from another place, another planet. Some people don't want to sit with me. Some people don't want to chill with me. People start kicking me down, like throw things at me, like calling me names, but like even talk about calling me African Buddha Scratcher, and like yo, go back to where you come from. Yo, you should do you should not speak like me, you should not do this, you should not like, and to hear like people talk about you in a degraded way, and for you to hold it down and not tell your parents that that's going on is like one of the most toxic things you can hold. And it's like it feds you. It makes you want to be like this person that where you have this audacity towards people, towards a certain race, a certain culture. Because mind you, these kids who I was with, there was black kids, but also white kids was doing it too. So like for me, it was more so of like I'm a dick both of y'all niggas. Like I don't care popping both of y'all. It is what it is. I have to. I didn't care about color. It was just how I was fucking with me. But when I start seeing how, and then when as I got older and I became to like seeing it, and I keep going through it, and I started seeing, yo, this black kid he's picking on me because I probably have better things than him at home. Then I started seeing this white kid, he is picking on me because, well, he never had black friends, so he don't know how to approach a conversation with black people. And to see both of them in the same room and to have to like figure out where do I fit in this conversation. As a person who's Afro-Latino, then you have Spanish people over there who's like, look at these black people, look at these white ones, look at these ones. And then I was like, well, I'm mixed with both of these two, so I'm Spanish and I'm black, so where do I fit in this conversation? They're like, oh, well, oh, you're mato. Mato means you just a mat. You mat means you just dirt. You just mix with two things. You just there. You're just like a mulatto. You just mix. You're just a mix. You're not original. And it's like, all right, well, I was born black anyways. It's cool. There's like, then when I go on the black side, it's like, oh, you're not black enough. You're not hood enough. You're not this enough. And then you start logically, you start degrading yourself mentally, you start degrading yourself spiritually, you start degrading yourself physically, then you start feeling yourself not attractive at all. Then you start saying to yourself like, what are you telling me? I'm ugly anyway. Because you gonna say that anyway. Because I already know you gonna say that, but I know when you walk away, you will tell your friend, yeah, he was ugly. Or he was this. Because why? Because traditionally looks matters and plays in everything that we do. Comes to relationship, friendships, all types of isms and relationships that we have, all that plays a role. And a lot of people don't know, like, bullying is not even, half of the time, bullying is just about people want to be accepted for who they are. But a lot of the time, they're not accepted. And when you bully other people, a lot of times, they just want to feel power. Because then they have no power, so what are they going to do? They will take power from you to gain their own power.
Now,
And
I definitely would. I remember in the documentary, I said that too. Like, there was a time in my life where I didn't want to be African. Like that shit was like, and I was definitely the type of young person that like folks who were Caribbean or like who just came from some kind of like African country. If they had some kind of like African swag, we definitely was on them. You heard? We was on them. We was like, yo, you ain't American, pretty much. Like, I remember like laughing at them. And nah, I think yeah, I think that's deep, man, because like as I got older, and I remember me like not wanting to be African, but I also remember me being like really at the front of like kids making jokes of other people who had certain accents, who had like certain kind of African indigenous kind of swagger. So all of these things there, like just like, yeah, like, but it's also deep how you called it bullying too. So I think like also like how, yeah, but also today right now you unpacking it a little bit, saying it too. Like it's also maybe they just don't know how to accept themselves or can't be accepted in other places too, which is kind of deep too.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You said so many stuff, man. I really wish I was by my computer and.
I got a question, Ron. How's your experience?
I could jump off and come back. So I see my notes. So you and one thing on the same line, you were saying like you was going into like we was talking about roots, and you were saying that like my ancestors told me I could be this way. And then in another line before that, you were saying, or right after that, a different line. So I want to put these together. You was kind of saying that if folks don't if you don't define yourself, then society is going to define you.
Yeah.
So say a little bit more about like what you mean about that, and also your ancestors say you could be this way. So say a little bit more about why you got to define yourself
It's
in
both.
relationship to society as a black person, as a young person, as a queer person, as an undocumented person. Speak to the spirit of why it's important for that.
Right. It is like is a lot deeper than what it is. It's really coming at like how like typically, you know, society play an important role in how you move. And psychologically, if if you don't get it, you don't understand it, it will manipulate you to play the game that you don't want to play. Um, and a lot of times people be playing the game thinking they know the rules, but the rules are always reversed. Like you like, oh, I played it so many times. Yeah, there's so many times that you played it. The rules has changed so many times, but you never bothered to think about the rules because why? You're so constantly playing the game. You thought the rules are the same, and when you do those things, especially like for a black person, you know, a black person or a brown person, it's like you have this way of, I call it resiliency, to never give up, never die attitude when it comes to like doing things. And like for us, it's like we just constantly keep proving that we can be better, do better, be greater, be excellent, be phenomenal, be exceptional. But yet we always create pathways in our own life that stop us. And
Mm,
we and what we stop us half of the time is not even society. Some society play a big role in it, but what society does, it mind fucks you to believe
mm,
that you have to do this in order to be validated.
mm,
You have to do this in order for you to grow. You have to do this, or I'll not will accept you. But then I'm looking at it like, okay, so Bill Gates did it back in his garage and he got $1 billion. Will Smith just started a sitcom, he got billions of dollars. This, and I'm like, if society dictates who I am, then am I really a human being or a lost soul? Because a lost soul is a person who don't know nothing. It's just a person that is living and breathing, but still trying to figure out what the next move is. A person who know who they are, they will tell you off rip, listen, bro, I think you kind of lost it there a little bit. You need to bring it back. I think you need to slow down a little bit. You need to read a little bit more. You need to educate yourself a little more. Those are the people that will help you in society. Those are people typically that we shun away in a society because why? Oh, stop being a nerd, dweeb. Oh my God, all we want to do is talk and read and oh my God, like because what society told us that those people are not worth to be listened to. They're not. Those are not your superheroes. They don't not your heroes and sheroes. Your sheroes and heroes are people who are rappers, rap dancers, and all these people who give you this fast life. And like a lot of times, like in my place, what I've seen, the experiences that I've seen, like over my years, I've seen that I have seen many young people make different choices that is so wrong that like I have seen people die in front of me because of the choices they made in society. Because they feel like if they don't get accepted by society, that they ain't shit. And I was like, I can't be that person. I gotta mentally emancipate myself and spiritually emancipate myself before I can do anything. Because if I constantly have to do what society says, then I'm just being a robot, not a leader.
And when you said my answer said I could be this way, how does that relate to everything you just said just now?
Because it's like it is deep. Because once you talk about migration and talk about like how like we constantly as black people have to prove that we matter and prove that we care and prove that, oh well, you're black, you got to prove these things. And my ancestors be like, we don't need to prove anything that is already here. Because it's like something you said while we was away. You said our stories are really in our bones, and when we die, you tell a deeper story. And I was like, and then when I really look and I said,
He sounds like,
like, he kind of right. It's when you die, then I start looking at it like as a science thing. I'm like, when you die, they take your bone and they examine it and they tell you exactly what tribe you come from, what hate section you are, what height you are. And then it's like, okay, cool. Then it's like, all right, so what ancestors, what they do is cosmology. Cosmology is talk about the stars and the moons and talk about the earth and the sun and the wind, while psychology really talking about the anatomy of the body and how, like, what we do with our bodies and what our bodies can do, but never tell us exactly how we can take care of the body. And I think when we come to the ancestors, it's telling us like, yo, if you need medicine, you gotta go north. Because go down south, you might not get what you need. You go west, you might get it, but it might be dry. But if you go east, it might be too wet for you. So you might go north where it's more comfortable if you get that medicine. And it's like the ancestors always tell us like follow the stars or follow the moon and where the stars is where you gotta go. And it's like with that, it's like saying travel means you have to sacrifice. You have to give and take. You have to lose and win, gains and losses into really get into like understanding that, yo, like if they move so many times and then ship our people from Africa to the Caribbean to the Mesoamerica to America to all these places, then I can do it too just by using a passport. I could just live here too. And it's something that a lot of times people who never had a passport don't understand what passport means. It's like another way of saying I can legally go anywhere I want because I'm not a slave. You're not gonna control me. I control my own destiny and what I gotta do. And a lot of times people be like, oh, like for example, not even a lot of times, for example, 2020 election as it is, and talk about the campaign as what it is, and talk about how people from other countries have been locked up, like in cages, and how they're snatched back into a cage of like they have no humanity. And they try to come just like everybody else come to America for a better life. And how typically when Americans see us, they see us as threat. They see us as, oh, well, you're terrorists, you're murderers, you're convicts, you're this and that. But yet, most of them undocumented folks buy land. Most undocumented folks buy houses. Most undocumented folks pay taxes. Most undocumented folks have more things than most people can even think of. But yet we treat it like we're nothing. It's like we're putting us into modern day slavery without even have to say highest bidder 5, 10, 20,000 without even saying that. But we are sold in that way without even have to be labeled that way.
Most undocumented folks got way more indigenous and historical and cosmological rights to this place on earth than any of these policies, laws, and treatments these white people be throwing on us. Shout out to our ancestors, you know, and their energy. Thanks for sharing some more about that, Keron. When you was going into that, it also brought me to another point. You talked about in a documentary, and it's related to like what's going now with like all of the community and block you know, harm that we doing each other. From, you know, it feels like in every hood and every neighborhood across the country, you know, blocks on blocks, black on black people, people we love, people that look like us, you know, are sharing mad energy on hurt, you know, we're hurting each other. And in the documentary, you were saying that, like, you know, when I was younger, and I know you've been with H.O.L.L.A working with us the last couple of years, so, you know, you've been in a different zone, but you were saying in the documentary, like, when you was younger, that a lot of your friends was lost to gun violence.
Right.
So say a little bit, you know, because that feels like a story that, like, while we talk about, like, racism as a historical, systematic current in our communities, when you think about some of the healing we got to do within our communities, like block on block energy have similar historical currents that we need to work through. And, you know, you talking about that 10 years ago and now all of the context going on right now. So just speak a little bit about, you know, what that is, what that feeling was, because you was even your tone in the documentary sounded a little bit different when you was talking about you lost your friend. So share a little bit about, you know, what that feels like. And
for me, it's like where I grew up, like I said before, like previously, I grew up in Belize. You know what I mean? It's a third world country, and I have seen so many people who like like lost their lives to the streets. You know what I mean? Like just wrongfully got killed, or just doing drive-by shootings, or do anything they want to do. And when I learn about things and I see those things, man, it's like to remember and to see like a black person on the ground and to hear about black person get killed. It creates this like anger in myself. It's like, dang, what can I do as a black person to change this narrative? And it's like to hear my friend got killed, and like I was like young, like I was like probably like 10, 11 years old, like 12 years old, probably like around that age before I came to America. And you know, we was getting in a fight, and my mom don't even know I got in a fight. I got in a fight.
About to find out now.
Right, she gonna find out now. Like I got in a fight, and then like one of my friends pulled up a gun or whatever, and then it's like, but at first I didn't really care about gun. I ain't got scared, but I was like, all right, cool. I like, yeah, put it away. Like you ain't gonna do nothing about it, whatever. And to see like I left my friend, and then the kid like left. I walked, and I was like telling him like, yo, stop, chill, bro. Not needed for that. Like it's not needed for like pull a gun. And it was like I was nervous to confront him. But at the same time, I was nervous for the fact that like I could get killed too, and it's like with this bullets, there's no name on it. And like he was just arguing, and then it's like for him, and him for shot my man's when he left, and he spin the block, and he just fired a shot right at my man's, and all I saw my friends drop. When he dropped, I see blood, and I panicked. But I didn't even say that. I was like, yo, bro, I'm just gonna call the ambulance for you, and I'm out. Like, I'm out. I ain't getting indulged with this. I ain't, nope. I ain't do none of that shit. And I just like, and to see that, and to see like people that I know closely got killed by people I don't know, and like, and constantly have to see I mean, countless of bodies of black person get killed. That is something that is a lot of people don't understand. Like, we don't do this because we want to. This was designed for us to do this. This is not, we didn't say, oh, we're killing this kill our brothers because we want that money. Nah. These are like implementing us in our society to make us act a certain way and be a certain way. And up to this day, I still feel the same way. I'm sick and tired of seeing black and brown kids getting killed by guns. I'm sick and tired of hearing, oh, black on black crimes. Oh, this is this crime. I'm tired of hearing that. Because I'm like, we have enough intelligence as a black culture to progress way deeper than we put ourselves in. And a lot of times we try to like say we're not, but like if we put an obstacle in front of us with music, I guarantee you that whole shelf and that whole shit will be done under an hour with music. And you know, just to see that, and like, and for me, it's just to learn, like, even in Belize, like, one of my missions, one of my goals is I want to be the Prime Minister of Belize. Like, that's one of my goals. I want to be Prime Minister or the Senate to change, because I feel like if nobody gonna talk about black culture, I got to talk about it. And I feel like we got to remove anti-blackness in our communities as well, because
Talk about it.
change, we have to remove anti-blackness. We got to remove this, oh, you're not black enough, oh, you're not this enough, because end of the day, there's one race on this planet as the human race, and we should get along and love each other. Not sit here, the white man, oh, this, no. Because why? Because end of the day, I look at it like this. We all got to have different colors, different shapes, different sizes. But what we have inside is the same blood type. We might have different blood type, but same color blood. We ain't bleeding different colors. So why should my mother worry about her son go outside? Why should a father worry about his daughter go outside? Why should a wife worry about her husband go outside? Why does a son gotta worry about his father might not come back? Why does it gotta constantly have to be where we have to worry about, we gotta be on 50 for everything when we could just be ourselves? Because like they always say, like, people always say, oh, I'm scared of white men, but I'm more well, black men is deadlier.
Say it again?
A white man might be in fear. I might scared of a white man, but a black man is deadlier because I'm more scared of him. Because why? He already know who I am. A white person don't. He already know what my phrase is. They don't. So he already know if
And we weaker the more we pop on each other from block to block as a black community, as a black family, the weaker we are.
right,
And the weaker you are. Like it doesn't make you stronger as a nation, as people from the stars, as people from ancient Africa, as people from Mississippi, and also as people from Queens in the bomb building. You know, like or wherever block you from, you know, by loving each other only make you stronger. You know,
right.
somehow we got tricked to like not understand that, and it's a lot of generation of community stories and bodies and loss and hurt and blood and pride and status in the neighborhood that that is real. You know
Mm-hmm.
that's also real with the hurt too. You know that we gotta address too. That we gotta honor too and see too.
Yeah, definitely. And it mostly, like I said, like it's embedding in traditions, you know. Like even like talking about like how beef starts in a community, you know what I mean? It starts with tradition. It starts with one person and consider with a tradition. And it's like a way, it was like a fire like existence of life. Like, you know, like for me, my mom always tell me like, oh, I need you to come back home. Like I need you to go where you go, but come back home. I need you to come back home safe. I need you to know that I love you and I care for you. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I'm like, listen, man, I'll be alright. But then I like one person when I was younger, I was like probably 11. He said, "Yo, young cat, come here.
Young cat.
Like, let me tell you something. I don't know why you acting the way you acting, but the street don't love nobody. The street don't love you.
Oh, you sound like who's that? That's Vic's song. Streets don't love nobody. Shout out
Right,
to Open Doors,
love
our
you.
big brothers. Shout out to
Please.
and family.
You know what I mean? And he like, I said, I know that. He like, how do you know that the street don't love nobody? I say, when you got people killed and nobody willing to talk to defend the lost voice that is gone, that's when you know streets don't love you. I said, when you lose cousin to gun violence, you knew streets don't love you. When you lose your best friend to violence, gun violence, you knew straight up streets don't love you. And just this 2 years ago, I lost my older brother to gun violence. My brother got killed in Belize a year ago. Shot in the head, execution. I lost them, you know what I mean? So like to constantly have people that I cherish, love, getting like this is like, it makes me like, dang, I have to love the people I'm with extra harder, but I can't tell them. I just gotta show them, but through tough love, because that's the only way. Because if I show too much, I'm gonna give away my weakness. Because a lot of times, you know, society, the weakness play a big role in how we show up in our communities. It's like either you be judged or either you be praised. And that's where it goes when it comes to like talking about black bodies. When talking about like not only that we kill our own, but police kill us too, and they don't even justify it. They say they got no foul play, but many times the cases they have is foul play. Many times they sit here with their own bias. Yes, we got institutions that are supposed to protect us, but with their own biases, they don't even see through their own biases what they have done and cultivate the hurt, and they have harmed mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, grandmas, community members, friends, neighborhood, watch person. They don't see those, and like even our own people, we don't see that. We're killing our own self for what? To survive who ego? Because at the end of the day, we hurt our own pockets. We want to get something real done. Hurt their pocket first, then come to us because their pocket is way deeper than ours. We barely have any, so why should we kill the next man that don't have any to get what? Nothing. What it is.
I don't know. I just want to say shout out to definitely my block, to the building, to Corona, East Elmhurst, but to all the hoods, and definitely to Chicago. Thinking about Brownsville, stuff is popping off in Dallas, Texas. you know, but really to all of the hoods and really to all of the fallen people. And I know me personally, like me in my situation that led me go to prison with like somebody dying and my role in that, and just like feeling like feeling really like bamboozled and like really hurt that like I got tricked, and like yeah, like you just like yeah, like you like life is precious, and like black life is super precious.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like anytime I feel weak in doing this work, like, you know, part of like the stuff that like give me strength is just reminding all the times that like I didn't cherish my own black life. All the times that like I disrespected my moms or other black, you know, black people. And definitely for my role in like just taking black life. I'd be like, damn, you got like more life to give, you know, you got more to give. And yeah, like some people don't come back from like being in those experiences. So, you know, like I don't think like, you know, and I feel like like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I don't think everybody like have that feeling of like, yo, like I don't like get to the spirit of like, you know, what that means for black people. I think that's also, you know, painful. I don't know, maybe our next thing we should be kicking more with like we had, you know, we started the Healing Justice movement in 2016, but 17 with the summit, Let the Talents Heal. We probably need like a part 2 to that, but really going at like the streets and like beef or like the blocks, and really think about like how do we just like think about engaging the blocks, and like that and that street love more. That sounds like definitely some energy, and we definitely need it, man. I think also, not just us, but I think, you know, the church, our moms, our elders. I also think like more to like the movement, the feminist movement, like all of our blackness and different intersections. We got to figure out how to get a little bit more closer and more honest with each other, and build that trust with each other. And it's gonna require all of us, from our standpoints and our own localities. We're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit or a lot, you know, of who we are or what we stand on as we walk to the middle. And that sacrifice ain't something that's like not for you. You know, that sacrifice is part of the transformation, and it's probably gonna be scary, and it is scary for me. You know, as I think about some of the stuff that I'm still trying to grow from. But I think like it ain't just like our block on block stuff that like is hurting our blackness, and it's a systematic hurting it. It's all of our factions of our blackness that we can just spend time on and talk about how we hurting each other, how we killing each other. So I don't just want to like act like, you know, I want to just make sure I share some blackness love that, you know, we went into that point that Keron had, but I really think that opened up a conversation about how do we love the beef more, but also I think that requires the church, you know, our moms, our feminists, our queer people, you know, all the sections and the age, like layers of our blackness to also come a little bit closer and sacrifice a little bit more for each other as a form of transformation and power, like you were saying earlier. Like it makes us stronger.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to say on that, brother? Or can I go to this next point, which
go to the next one.
Yeah, so just thinking about healing, shout out to all of, you know, my moms, my wife, Teresa, who is always in the background and supporting me. And but really Keron talked about cosmology and star and universe and ritual and element, wisdom, and from my understanding that's like a sacred feminine kind of like spirit that I think comes a lot from like our grandmas. That's our mothers and our daughters. And so I just want to give a shout out to my moms and my wife before going into thinking about healing. In the documentary, you were saying what we doing here, healing, it got a different structure. Like this is also when we was building the curriculum for the healing circles that we end up doing in so many different places. As Keron mentioned, our first kind of like pilot healing circle was at Columbia University, they master's course in psychology, and we used them as like our piloting. You know, before we went to like the young people, we said, yo, let's pilot this at Columbia. And like Keron said, we got a lot of feedback and we revamped it and we learned off top that like we need to tell people and we had a framework to like respond to intersectionality and historical oppression because mad white people was asking us about our pathology stories. So we learned a big thing in that first circle. But going back into the question about healing, you were saying like when we was thinking about the curriculum and all that in the documentary, you said like we talking about something with a different structure. And then you said like, yeah, we trying to get to being vulnerable. Break that down. When we saying healing and we talking about we talking about the block on block stuff though, but we just talking about all the stuff that you talking about around bullying, around our family. Like what do you mean about healing got a different structure and it's about vulnerability?
It is a lot deeper, you know what I mean? Because where I in my vantage point of my life and where I see things, I see it differently. Where typically you can't get a grown man to cry off rip by just saying 3 words. You have to open up a door that he don't typically want to talk about. Like a lot of times for men, we have this door that we keep closed for some reason. And when we're partners or moms, when they ask us about it, we tend to be like, nope, we ain't talking about it. I ain't doing it. No, I'm not doing that. Because habit of not that we have a habit, we was conditioned to stay quiet. Because typically in society, a man's supposed to hold a different barrier than women, DK. And like in my perspective, I always see men who's supposed to be the strong men are weak. Because I'm like, bro, you saying you macho, but I guarantee you, if I ask you 3 questions about yourself, you can answer it. Because I know that your side is mad fragile with more fragile. And it's like I was telling you, bro, your internal is mad weak, bro. And he's like, what you mean? I'm like, bro, I guarantee you, I ask you 1 question right now, you would struggle to answer that question. And then I was like, then I made that theory happen. And I asked one of my friends one time, he like, oh, I'm done with this H.O.L.L.A shit. Oh, let me get a shirt, bro. I said, oh, word? You want a shirt? All right, so who are you then? Who do you pretend to be? He like, bro, I'm this. What is that? I already know that. Who are you? Like, he like, come on, bro. You doing too much. You doing too much. I said, am I really? Am I really doing too much? I said, clearly, I know you are surface only. I know you not. We have no emotional connection, bro. Is that we have an emotional connection this way, but that's how much you willing to go with me. I said, but I'm willing to go a mile with you, but you just want to go an inch. There's a difference right there, bro. There's a disconnect in our friendship where I can't be vulnerable with you. I'll give you the shirt, but I need you to do your homework. Because we as men gotta uphold a lot more than we're given. Like when our brothers are fucking up, we gotta check them. It's not a woman place to check him, it's us to check him. Because us as men gotta hold another man accountable. And like when I talk about vulnerable, is really talking about like if us men are allowed to, if we give ourselves the allowance to tell ourselves, let's cry more, we will see a lot more masculine and feminine energies from men. You see more men were in touch with their feelings. Then you will see less of like relationships and marriages and all these engagement will last longer. Because like if you really look back at our grandparents and like see how our grandfather sets up the way he lived in the house, like listen, whatever grandma says, it's go time.
How that goes.
And then I start seeing, all right, cool. Yo, pops. Yo, can I? No. The fuck. I'm the man of the house. The fuck. No. I'm like, I said, this generation is so fucked up. Because like when you look at those two, like when I really look at generations, like I look at generations Like I look at my grandparents' generation, I look at my mother's generation, I look at my generation, and I look at my cousin's generation. I'm like, yo, we're so disconnected. As men, we're so disconnected. It's like we're gone. We're so lost in touching like masculinity of what man is that we prefer Gucci, all the designers to mask the pain that we're hiding. A lot of times, if we remove these masks of these designers that we're wearing every day, a lot of men will be more in touch with themselves. A lot of men will know themselves. A lot of men will appreciate themselves. Because I'm telling you, I have heard so many men talking about, I hate myself. And I'm like, why? It's because they have no depth of themselves. They have no originality with themselves. They have no feelings with themselves. They never had a conversation with themselves to be able to let themselves hear themselves cry. And like to have those vulnerability to be open, like to even have a space where I able to cry. Like I don't cry, like I don't even like crying. And to be able to see and see other grown men cry with me, that is healing. That is deep. And what's so deep about it, it was when me, Alex, Mashley, and Shaq went to a meeting just this past week. And this brother that we met, Marlon, I believe his name was, he came off vulnerable. He talked about his personal journey to this whole COVID. And he was, as he get deep, he cried. He, like, for me, look, I had to look at him 3 times, like, is this dude really crying? Because I have never, not say that I have never, I haven't seen in so long that a man cry and be able to acknowledge and saying that I know why I cry and why I feel and how I feel it. I haven't seen that ever. Like if I had a man like that teach me that it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel this way, it's okay to do that, the world would have been a better place. But society takes our pops away. They take that vulnerable of our backs away. They take that security, that teachable, that creativity, that ambitious, the innovative part of our backbone and destroy it. So when you destroy it, you create no vulnerable. You're not creating no heart. You're not creating no structure. You're not creating nothing because why? There's nothing to create because it's already gone.
Nah, thank you. Shout out to Crown Heights and to Drop and to the brothers.
Right, I don't really an reflection
and the family over there, man, because that's deep too. Just this, Shaq also talked about how deep that meeting was and how it was so like a circle, and how so much of the energy and the rawness that the Crown Heights brothers and people shared with us, how that brought so much hope to Shaq and to us. But just hearing you talk about like that person crying and how that did something for you, I think that's another thing that relates to like what you were saying about healing got a different structure. That like, and my agent said this too in the in the video too. Like sometimes you ain't even got to say something and you get healing, you know, because you are in a space that somebody is saying something that is for you that just needs to be said, or sometimes somebody cry or share emotion and like maybe it don't hit you that day, but it hit you later on. Like, damn, I could do that. That's cool to share. You know, that's cool to be able to like give the people in a certain way. So that's another thing about I think the different structures is that like you can't heal alone, and particularly when you in community healing, the things that other people do and say in relationship to themselves is always and almost all the time in relationship to you and your own healing as well.
Mm-hmm. And you can't.
So,
though,
go ahead. Nah, go ahead.
No, you know what I mean? You can't heal alone, and I think that's what it is about vulnerability. It's a vulnerability that we're talking about, like we're saying that for you to get vulnerable, you have to set up the foundation first. And you have to set up somewhere a support system for you. And it's like it's like for me, like vulnerable is just a deep thing because it's like you're in touch with a side of yourself that you haven't in touch with yourself at all. And like vulnerable creates a portal within you that is so so like attachable, so like you can't remove it because it's already there. It's like when it maps on, it's on you. Now you forced to do it. It's not even forced. It's not even necessarily forced. Your spirit is so
Your
in line
spirit.
that it naturally flows. And me as a spiritual person, I always believe that. And like when I say that is because like even go back to that same scenario, that same meeting. He was talking to another young brother next to me. And that young brother was speaking facts. And he was talking to that young brother, giving him a jewels. And I had to stop him and I said, yo, are you talking to me? What you just said, were you talking to me? I said, because that felt like you was talking to me. And I'm like, wow. Like I said, and I had to affirm that and affirm him because that is like a spirit that if every young person has, I'm gonna call it vulnerability buddy, a vulnerability buddy.
A
Really,
vulnerability buddy. A
really
VB. The VB.
wisdom with and really compassionate love and say like, yo, I'm support you in your journey. I'll be there in your journey and I'll be in your journey. If you have a vulnerability buddy to like really go to, cherish that because a lot of times we don't know how deep we can go until we start the journey. We don't know. We don't know how we don't know where we're gonna go. We don't know how long we're gonna go. But like it's like that's why like for me I have a vulnerability buddy. Like I have you know what I mean? And it's great because me and her came up with the term. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, you my vulnerability buddy. She's like, what you mean? Like you like my shoulder buddy, but you're my vulnerability buddy. Buddy that if I'm going through something, I could call and we could just talk. There's no judgment.
Yo, you just coined that, man. You ain't bringing that to H.O.L.A, man. We taking that Keron coined that on IG Live. This is definitely a ritual, man. We gonna come back to this and have a deeper conversation on this. But document that, man. We all need a vulnerability buddy, a VB. Keep it going, Keron.
Yeah, and like for me, like what like even like people think trying to figure out what it means. A vulnerable buddy is a person that you could have an emotional connection and talk and be your true authentic self. Where you could call them and like, yo, listen, I think I fucked up. I don't know if I fucked up. Can you tell me if I fucked up? Can you
Definitely.
if I'm right or wrong? Can you let me know if I did this? Like you have to because if you don't if you really don't, we fucked up because in your head you will play that same scenario over and over and over 1,000 times. But with 1,000 times, the result that you will get with a vulnerable buddy will not be the same with when you have it by yourself, because you actually learn about yourself while seeing yourself in the other person, while the person seeing you in them too. So it's like it's just a deep thing, you know what I mean? And like vulnerability is just something that like I got tapped to like a year, like 2016. But like to really get to understand that is like it's just deeper within itself though. It's deep, yo.
Just I just got a thought that came back to me when you was going earlier. I was thinking about the circles we had about like being a dude and our manness, and just thinking about all of the healing that men need to do, and my own self, and like just some of the healing I did already, and just some of the journey I gotta go to kind of like to like heal from like being a man, manhood. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, we did that circle, really focus on like, yo, like, what it was like being a man. Like, how have you been a man when you was 3, when you was 5, when you was 7, when you was 18, when you was 19? And I just think about all of the ways white supremacy, colonization, Christianity, just like the intentionality of snatching my family from from their culture and from cosmology, how that over decades and generation influenced what I was told to be a man, and
Right.
how that landed on me, and how I started to internalize that and play that out in certain things, and like how like today and tomorrow and yesterday, I'm like trying to fight out of that. I'm still trying to fight out of that. Like and redefine what that means for my family, for my wife, and for other block on block love between black men and between indigenous men, you know. And wrapping up some of the documentary, you kind of like had the final wordish in the documentary. I think.
Yeah.
I think you was like the last wizard. You was like, yo, bah, 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 bah. You know, I'm spiritually free, I'm emotionally free, bah, 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 but I ain't physically free. And like it's more to come, and it's coming, but it ain't here yet. You know, what's coming and what's not here yet? What's still holding us back? And then we're gonna go into a round of spiritual questions.
Me, honestly, every time when I watch the documentary, I see the end part, I laugh too, because I was like, yo, whatever. And what I meant by that is like, it's talk about the now. It's not about the now where, like I research, you know what I mean? I research beliefs within the history itself of like the pandemic we had before and what was like the history before, when slavery was and when it was all that. And I read that and I put that and put American history together. And I look at it like, and then when I was talking about that, it was saying like, y'all, like, are people who are black who died while coming here, who died in the river, who died in the swamp, who died just being on a boat, who got sick on land, died, like all those, like their souls still live on. Like their bodies still here. Their voices still matter. And I was really talking about like how like until we are equally free, nobody gonna be free. And everybody's talking about, oh, white, like, oh, we're superior. Oh no, we want to be superior, but like we have to really talk about anti-blackness in our communities. We have to really remove the negative masculinity in our community, the toxic femininity in our community, like all the things that is so negative. We have to remove them in our communities in order for us to grow, in order for me to grow, in order for us to, as a collective to grow. And I was really talking about like people who are like black and who voice never heard. I'm talking about black undocumented folks. I'm talking about black queer folks. I'm talking about black trans folks. I'm talking about just black people from the hood, black people who goes to like these Ivy League schools but never had a voice. For people who go to public school who never had a voice. For a woman who never had a voice. For domestic violence who never had a voice. For people who are bullied who never had a voice. For everybody that who never had a voice, this is the time that their voice will be heard. This is a time that is so eminent, is so real, is so important that their voice to be heard. And I'm not that person. I'm just a vessel that carried the voice. I'm not them. I'm just the person that they channel their inner energies and inner focus. And they're like, yo, if I can't say it, I know you can. So I just try to use what I know and try to use what I believe to really tell them about, like, give them a spirit to understand, like, yo, this story is not just a story. This is a livelihood. This is how I live. This is how I breathe. Being undocumented is how I live and breathe. This is how I see myself. This is how I live every day. There's no mask. This is everything me. And it's like, if you can't accept this, you could never accept me as an individual. And when it comes to blackness, like I said, why should I constantly prove my blackness matters? My blackness is me. I was born with it. Black Lives Matter.
Thank you for that. That's just letting black people, indigenous people, hood people, queer people, our community know we got work to do. Because all of us ain't doing it. All of us ain't supporting each other. We still don't trust each other enough. We didn't get our power up yet. We got to go inside us. We got to love each other a little bit more so that we can love each other a lot more, you know? Now we're gonna jump off the documentary and go into these last rounds of spiritual questions, our speed round.
Yeah, I see some
spiritual questions.
Bro, I see a question. Somebody asked earlier, Ron, how was your experience makes you grow? My experience helped me grow by I teach one, I pay forward. I take what I know and what I learn and I just give it to the next person. And I always believe that what I learn is not for me, it's to pass forward to the next person. I could use it and channel it, but it's not meant for me to keep it. It's for me just to pass forward. So I use everything with my experiences. I try to like show people not only what they need to hear, but also show them things that they need to see as well. Somebody's
That's good. Any other questions?
uh
Keron, for me, for the documentary, any reflections, any more comments? Please share
we
the
need to
video.
we need to teach our kids about credit and guide them from young how to have a better life, better for themselves. Um,
Why don't I see all these comments you looking at, man? What you
Crying
see?
as an adult is a reflection of pain, sorrow, and it provides an important release. When it's all born, the first thing we do is cry. But as you said, men leads to believe that crying is not a masculine. Definitely, definitely.
I didn't hear that. Say that again. You was kind of like muffled. Say that again.
It says, what is it? It says, when we are all born, the first thing we do is cry. But as you said, men are lead to believe that crying is not a masculine.
Mm, that's fire. I never thought about that. That hook
Then
was
it said,
fire.
crying as an adult is merely a reflection of pain and sorrow and provides an important release. Definitely.
You
Def-
seeing questions that I ain't seeing, man. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's something that I have to learn, that crying is important. I never learned how to cry, like I had to figure it out. And I think what it is was, what led me to cry was I had to accept myself. I had to not compete with myself, but more so appreciate myself, love myself, take care of myself. People always do say that all bodies are motor equal, and like every part is important. And I try to cherish every body part that I have. I try to like take care of every body parts that I have, because it's like if one part's fuck up, everything's fucked up. I guess they'll be like, oh, I'm on a shelf again for like a month now. But like, if you don't cherish who you are as an individual, you will never cherish people as a collective. And one thing I would tell people, like, one thing I want you to know from this conversation is that healing is not a one person thing. Even if you think you're macho, even if you think that you're greater than anything else, healing will show you why you need a vulnerable body. It was why. Um, Definitely, and it shows you that we all wear masks every day, but yet we're so blinded that we think we don't. But in every circle, in every space, in every conversation, we do put a different version of ourselves without even thinking that we do, but we do oftentimes.
drop that wisdom. I just lost my point listening to you drop that wisdom. I come back to it when it come back to me. But let's go into these rounds. Do we got any more questions? Any more comments? We getting closer to wrapping up. We getting closer to wrapping up this live.
What's the difficulties when it comes to healing interpersonal relationship or challenges?
What's the what? Who that's for you, Keron? You
Is
got a
that
lot of
what?
questions coming.
Yeah, I think this is for me. Is that what's the difference? What's the difficulties when it comes to healing interpersonal relationship or challenges? I think for me is about accepting your part, accepting yourself too. A lot of times us as men, speaking for us as men, we we often don't cherish ourselves enough when it comes to our relationships and interpersonal, because we often have to put on a facade to be at certain things, and it's difficult when especially when you're a man. It's difficult for you to share what you really truly feel without feeling like you're being judged or not being heard or not being cared for. And it, like for me as it's difficult, like to even say I love you, I need you, I'm craving you. Us as like me as a man, I know for a fact that's one of the challenging thing I have, because once I do that, people around you start looking at you like, he have emotion, y'all. Oh my God, he have emotions. But not saying that we don't have emotion. It's just that not everybody has somebody to help them tap into those emotions. A lot of times we end up, we're so lonely that we do violence because we trying to seek acceptance in places. Yates Robinson.
Any more questions? That was a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So I can give you some. Let's go into the speed round of spiritual questions. So these questions, when we thought we was launching our documentary, We Came to Hell in the movie theaters before the pandemic, we created a whole healing experience with pledges, circles, with introductions, with etc. And one of the things we wanted to do before we watched the documentary was create the space where people understood some things and had those things in their body and in their spirits before they watched the documentary, and to take home with them too if they never really thought about them in that way. So today we use these questions now as our spiritual speed round questions.
Right.
You never lose the wisdom; it comes back. So first question: who do you want to heal with?
Who I want to heal with? First and foremost, I want to continue to heal with myself. Then I want to heal with my family and my friends and my internal friends and everyone else around me.
Okay. Let's keep it.
Uh,
Who?
I want to heal with my pops too. Me and my
Oh,
pops
my
have
bad.
a relationship. And I feel like I have to forgive him because I haven't really fully did it. Yeah, I said I did it and I did it to his text. It's not as if I said to him personally, like face to face, and actually talk about let's give a hug. You know what I mean? Like to say, yo, I'm sorry. And to hear him say I'm sorry. Like not just I don't really care for what he gonna say. I just want to say for me so I can accept myself.
Mm.
'Cause, like, I haven't fully accept myself because I have to accept him as who he is and how he shows up. And I have to do that as a man because that's the only way I can move forward.
Mm. Who do you owe healing to?
Who do I owe healing to? My mom. uh, I owe healing to my mom because I feel like with her, I haven't really appreciated all the things she have done. I was being very what's the word, Grinch like, unappreciative, uncaring, unloving. I loved her, but I haven't really tell her like, yo, thank you deeply enough to say, yo, like, I get why you did what you did to where we at now. To say like, yo, in less than 2 months, you have a 28-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is something that has never been done. Like, I say I love you, and she, like, one thing my mom did say was, I'm proud of you. Like, I hear her say it, but it's like, dang, now it's my turn to say it, but I have to pick the right time to do it.
Who owes you healing?
Who owes me healing? Man, a lot of people owe me healing. A lot of people have done me wrong. I said, who owe me healing? Um, my choices. My choices owe me healing. The choices I made, that owes me healing. Um, the decision that like not only the decisions but also the people I hurt and the people that hurt me owe me healing too. Because like when I look back on those moments, I could have done a lot of things differently. But then again, I provoked a lot of things that creates what happens. So yeah.
Who are you not ready to heal with?
Who It went. Damn.
I see you swallowed on that one right there. You like,
Right.
it sounds like we in a circle right now. We ain't one of those cookers.
Cause like it go back to my pops. Like I want to heal with him, but I don't want to. I really not ready for him though. Like I'm not ready because I felt like me and him have a lot of work as a man. As a man, we have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do as his son, as a man. He has a lot of work as a father, as someone as a role model. So we both owe each other healing. But if I will go more technical, I say my spiritual. You all healing too. Because like I have to feed my spiritual before I can feed my mental, and before I can feed my spiritual, before I can feed my physical. Actually, so
So we do a lot of healing circles internally at H.O.L.A, and I done heard me, you, Mashley, a lot of us talk about fear, and we dope, and we do a lot of stuff, but we in our internal circles we talk about fear. So this question, we outside of the vulnerable work that we do, we're talking about those spaces within us. Like, how does fear still negate your access to vulnerability and healing? Where are the areas and what moments do fear still kind of like stop you from accessing vulnerability and healing?
yo, I was prepared for these questions, but damn, that's a deep ass question.
I know this is what you were saying to your man. You be like, yo, dudes ain't ready to answer these kind of questions. They be thinking they macho. You put a question on them like, yo.
Right, my fear really comes at like I said earlier too. It's like the unknown. Like I'm afraid of the unknown. I want to let my guard down. Like
dropping coffee.
When I let my whole who Ron and who Keron is, and I put Ron and Keron together, I'm not ready for that collaboration because they're two different versions of me that I hold dear to my heart that I keep separately. Thinking that these two words don't need to be separate and this need to be one.
Shout out to Black feminist thought, intersectionality, our Black women. Keep it going, my bad.
It's like
also community organizing, street
right.
organizing.
It's like what the word I'm looking for. It's like when I fully accept myself as a human being and say, yo, you can be Ron and Keron in the same room and still be the same person. You don't have to switch. You don't have to put on like, all right, I'm Ron, I'm doing my H.O.L.A bag, this is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, when I'm home, I'm Keron, this. No, I could still be them same persons, just in the same body and not trying to put up a facade for it. And really talking about like, how can I, not only that, but also talking about fear of like, when will I be able to just say what I want to say without even have to say, what would they think about it?
You going into that Shaq bag. You gotta quote that. You going into that Shaq bag. That's what Shaq said in the documentary.
Right.
Shout out to Shaq, man. He dropped. Yeah, keep it going. What he say again? Say that again. Rewind that. Keep on.
Oh, like I gotta really like figure out what bag I gotta go to like make that shit happen. Like I gotta figure out like how I make these two worlds collide in one room without feeling like I have to prove to them like, yo, like this is it. This is me. Like I can't hide no more. Like because a lot of times, family they ask us why you act a certain way, why you move a certain way, and it's like for me, it's more so of like I choose it because I feel like this world is better off separately. And then it's like I noticed my cousin asked me like, why you do that? Why don't you put them together? I was like, no, it's too much. It's too much friction.
I be asking you that too.
For me, I'm always like fear of like, what would this world look like with both sides though? What would it feel like? How would it repel? How would I show up once these two worlds are collide? Will I be the same? Will I be different? Or will I change?
This is Dave. It's for Facebook. I mean IG Live. This is the first time I'm tapping into this too, man. This is some deep stuff we hearing on live. Keep
deep
going.
because I have to, and it is, and it's like, and if you don't tap into who you are, you gonna lose yourself and you gonna lose the ideas that you think you're holding. Cause like honestly, I hold a lot of fake ideologies into these two worlds. I hold this toxic masculinity in these two worlds. And I try to be on some like superhuman with these two worlds. Like this go over here and this going over here and that's what we're gonna do. But I look at it like, would it be that bad if these two worlds collide? Will it be that bad if I put H.O.L.A and my family together? Will it be that bad? And then I start saying to myself, no, it would not be that bad. I need to appreciate all the relationships that I cultivated, not only the ones on this side, but put them together and appreciate them as a collective. Because with both Ron and Keron, yeah, they're both different people, but they'll both hold the same
What,
ideas.
what about Uncle? What about Unc? Where Unc at? Unc in here
Uncle
too?
always here. Uncle is
Oh,
always here. You know what I mean? But Ron is
right.
always here. And that's what I'm saying. Is like to have all, I think one of the deepest things that I would say to cut it off is that I use different facade because I feel like that's how I'm supposed to be, but not, it's not intentional who I am. And what I learned is like with all these different facade, different places of myself, I teach, I learn, I motivate, I irritate. I learned that with all of this, I learned that if I put all this together right now, nothing gonna stop me. All the thing will be greater. Then it'll be more relationship. They'll be come around more. Then it'll be more flow of like, oh, I see you now. Oh, I get it now. I see the work you do. Got you. Get it. But my fear, I just need to let it down and like really say, yo, just drop the curtain. What am I hiding? If both worlds see me and both worlds see the thing that I do, then and both is in one place, then I should just collide them as a collective too.
Speak to your mom. Speak to Belize. Speak to your father. Speak to your family that you live with, and in Brooklyn. Speak to all of the IG listeners and the Healing Justice movement, people that inspire us and the people we inspire. When you are feeling weak, like low in energy, like where you go inside you to get love and to get dreams and to get hope to keep going?
Yo,
What
this is
brings
people is ending around here. Um, where do I go? I actually go into my Incognito ROM bag. Um, and what I mean by ROM bag, that means that's the spoken word version of myself. That's the words. That's the way I tap into like. And when I'm down, a lot of times I learn to like. I try to figure out why I'm down. Then I try to understand why I'm down. Then I try to acknowledge while I'm there. I still gotta acknowledge why I'm down, and also affirm that I can be better. I can lift myself up. I got this. Um, and when I'm at weakest, I shut people out, not intentionally, but it's like I physically shut them out, but spiritually the door is open, and emotionally the door is open, but physically it's shut. But emotionally, I will still listen, and spiritually, I will still care. It's just like physically, I just need a moment to recuperate. Just saying like, yo, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing wrong. I need to reevaluate, even if I'm doing right. Like, is this right? Right? Is this wrong? Wrong? Can I make it? Can I fix it? Is there any fixing need to be done? If there's no fixing, why should I keep doing it? Why should I keep pushing this then? And it's like more so of like understanding like, yo, like, okay, I don't need to do no more. I just gotta do what I gotta do and keep it pushing. So it's like for me, just like for weakness, I just try to run too. Like I try to run, try to smoke weed. Um, and I try to, like just write. It's like I notice like when I write, everything that I ever thought come out through my words when I write. And it's like People be like, "Oh, what you mean?" I'm like, every poem I wrote was from my heart. It was from my soul. It was from the bones. It was from all the things that I see, touch, hear, and I always use those as like a stepping stone of my legacy. Fast forward.
That was deep. Thanks for sharing that with the peoples and giving them some of that spirit. No, sorry. People rolling up on me like, yo, you leaving that parking spot, man? They're like, yo, get up out of here. So we are closing out on those. That was the last of the round of spiritual questions. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to have this saved on our Instagram. So, Keron, make sure after we hang up and you stop this that you save it in the IG, whatever mode, so that we can have that. We got another IG Live discussion coming up Thursday with Shaq, another one of our organizers, Thursday. And I think we started early today. I think we were supposed to start at 6:30 and go to 8. I think we started today at 6.
Yeah,
but on Thursday, we're going to start at 6:30, and it's going to go to 8. 6:30 to 8. So look out for the flyer. If anybody wants to be a part of a discussion around a documentary, please DM us and hit us up. And if you watch the documentary, if you watched it with your family and you want to try to set up reflecting on the documentary with some of our organizers, we're trying to create this platform to really discuss the documentary but use it as a way to continue to heal within ourselves and our families. You know, we came to heal. Our documentary, We Came to Heal, you can find it on YouTube. Our YouTube is H.O.L.A TV. You can also follow us on Facebook, How Our Lives Link All Together. We on Twitter at Holla_us. And our website is Hill with WHITH, Holla, HOLLA.com. And you can find our everything on our website, from our documentary to our YouTube to all of our programs and to our work. And in closing, before I go, I just want to see if Keron got any last words, and then I end with some spirit to close us out.
Yeah, like just to echo what Era said in the comment, definitely what Cory said. Go watch that documentary, man. It's something that is needed to be watched. Tell all your moms and your brothers and sisters to watch this. To tweet about it, text us, all that. Like, I think this is a time where it's a pivotal time where young people are talking about healing. I want to really talk about healing. Let them come talk about it the real right way, the healing justice way, not just any way.
And in closing, this poem is something that really came from my spirit and really came from the ancestors. And a lot of our work, like Keron said, from cosmology to thinking about Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner, to thinking about Fred Hampton, to Fannie Lou Hampton, to our grandmoms. You know, we really honor our ancestors, and the work that we do is, you know, just to honor how they sacrificed and thought about us before we got here. And as A-Rock said, we try to carry that energy forward and think about our young people and our future before we get to them and before they get here as well. And this poem here is, I'm going to share with us to try to close us out for tonight. This is for our ancestors, particularly the ones that stand with us and plan with us. I'm talking about a pedagogy of patience. They still waiting for your transformation and for us to heal from all the steel blazing and generation after generation of living out the plantation. This is for our ancestors, particularly the ones that get killed for us,
Right.
sacrifice and build for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about indigeneity without no regulation, coaching, emotional communication. Vulnerability is what we embrace, and this is for our ancestors, particularly the ones that love you when they don't got to, but love you because they got you. This is for our ancestors, particularly the ones that stand with us and plan with us I'm talking about a pedagogy of patience. I'm still waiting for your transformation and for us to heal from all the steel blazing and generation after generation of living out the plantation. That was for our ancestors. Shout out to you all. Keron, can you play some Healing Justice music for another 5 or so minutes until we rock out? I
Yeah.
see you all Thursday. Send us some love. Hopefully somebody else want to join us. Have a good night. Peace.
Who would have known that the smallest changes. Definitely miss you too, Ayola. Definitely. Much love to everybody who is here, man. That conversation was dope, man. I'm still in here. But now, man, it was blessed to see y'all, man. I'm gonna let this song rock out real quick, though. Young wild child, looking like a nigga with my knees scraped. Be great, what my mama said when I had lost faith. Ultra lonely with a big mouth, and my biggest sister's baby bro, he had a temper. Wish that all our lives were simpler. Don't trip by Phoenix like my niece name. Never let the deep pain consume me in the room or do my peep game. Now I'm in full bloom, new moons and I see the stars. Never thought I'd make it far, living my whole life with scars. Dark skin, melanin, beauty. What it do?
Nah, man, y'all was live, man. That was amazing. Thanks, y'all.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah, I was trying to multitask, doing like classwork and listening to y'all. That was good.
Word, bro. How do you enjoy it?
No, it was good. Y'all did amazing. Y'all was good. Dropping them jewels. I was feeling that.
Man, just be in this room and just to read and just like, I think a lot of these things that I said, there's a lot of reevaluation I had to do in my life, yo. Like to say what I said today, these are like validation for my spirit, yo. Like I had to say it because I feel like it just happened. You know what I'm saying? But
Nah,
definitely.
fact. Yo, A-Rocks, you should get in. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Yeah,
Word, I just try
Daniel,
to.
definitely,
But yo, bro. No, I just wanted to say it was good, y'all. Glad to see
bro.
you. That
Yeah,
was
no,
amazing.
definitely.
You did amazing.
We did it. Yes. How is it when others is certain? Let me share my story. I got a cougar called Nina, that's my favorite 40. In the
I
streets,
haven't
scared
even
to
came to
die,
the new
so
crib.
I
I need to
keep it
come through over
on.
there.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta let y'all come
Yeah,
over. My
yeah,
room is so
definitely.
situated differently.
Nah, definitely. Nah, I feel it.
Definitely, bro.
Yo, I'm gonna holler at you, right, bro?
Yes, sir. I'll be in the chat.
All right, peace.
Peace. Yo, make sure y'all DM me for the Healing Justice documentary. I would definitely send it to y'all via DMs. So please reach out to me via DM. This was amazing. I'm gonna play one more song, let that song rock out, and we're gonna go to Social Toxin. I'm off for the 29th of this month from my 10th year home. Oh, let's go. He's 10-year home, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. Got you.
Revolution won't be televised. The revolution won't be televised. The revolution won't be televised. We sending shots to the other side. It's you and mine. It's you and mine. The revolution won't be televised. The revolution won't be televised. We sending shots to the other side. To the other side. To the other side. So don't get out of pocket. You just need to learn the lesson. These are always legends, never peasants. guys, it's a blessing, ayy. Feeling with our truth and all our truth, that's how we detonate. Whip it up and let's get paid. Break the cap and get out my way. Don't get it out of pocket, you just need to learn your lesson, ayy. We were always legends, never
You already know.
it's a blessing, ayy.
You already know. Yo, happy anniversary, big bro. You're another 5-year, 10-year anniversary. You already know we do it.
Feeling with our truth and all our truth, that's how we detonate. Whip it up and then let's get paid. Quick the cap and get out my way. 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 Whip it up and then let's get paid. Quick the cap and get out my way. We the ones you have forgotten. Yeah, hateration for generations, been filled with toxic. Got a case of every black sister, brother, yeah, just a rotten. So I wake up gracefully, cause every day allow me progress. From paper planes so close to spirit when I'm in the cockpit. Trying to break my chains, but still my history is stained with gossip. By Peter, James, John, and Susan, never in the projects. My movement racing, cause my lifespan only had corner concepts. Her drive slow, that's just the old hands give you block tips. Before the pigs find out the drop and try to give you drop kicks. My friends and family get report I'm on some killer cop shit. Fucking rob and gentrify while they look for cafe options. Look to the jungle, lose your life on some outside shit. Put 2 foot lockers on the same spot that's just